What's up, guys? Welcome back to Talking Nutrition. Today's a bonus episode where I want to share with you the recording of a rapid fire Q&A that we did for our current Momentum May challenge inside of our free fitness community on Facebook, which, by the way, I can link down below. So if you'd like to join us, it's completely free. There's no sales pitch, like no surprises, right? It's really just a place where we want to help you. So we have free trainings. We go live every single week. We have downloads, we have tools. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I'd like you to check this out. I think it's really going to be beneficial because there's a lot of shit online where, sure, you get the information, but there's not a lot of help in terms of like applying this stuff. And that's really where we come in, where that free group, like we actually help you take action on this, right? So if you'd like to join us, I'll make sure to drop the link down below. We are currently like halfway into our challenge, so you cannot join us right now. But if you want to join us next time, which full transparency, we will be doing another one in September. So it's not going to be for a while, but if you want to join us in September, make sure to jump in a group and just grab your free downloads, join the live trainings, like engage and ask questions, right? Because that's what it's for. And then if you like to, you can join us next time in September. With that being said, let's get into the episode. Enjoy, and I'll talk to you very soon.
First question, do you have any tips for a good meal before training to avoid running out, in quotes? So a couple things to consider here, right? So most of our workout is actually going to be fueled through glycogen. That's our stored carbohydrate in your muscle and liver. So mostly muscle, right? That's your fuel tank. So you want to think about it that way. Your muscles are almost like a storage tank for sugar, which is that main fuel source. We need that. And I know also that this person does CrossFit. So especially then, if it's higher intensity training, we definitely want to have our carbs, right? And I mean, I do have a CrossFit background too, and we still see a lot of people under eating carbs, even though they're doing like highly glycolytic training, like very intense stuff that's very stressful on the body, which is okay, right? It's not bad per se, but we want to fuel for that. Now, back to the actual question. So it's mostly going to be fueled through glycogen. So that means that we actually want to make sure that we just get plenty of food throughout the day, because here's the thing. It takes just about 24 hours to replenish. Now, that being said, if you train in the morning, you want to make sure that your evening meal from the day before that is decent in carbohydrate, right? Because that's when you do that refueling. It takes a little bit of time. Then let's say you train in the evening. Well, then you just want to make sure that like you have like a good breakfast, a little bit for lunch maybe, just so you get some fuel throughout the day so you get to restore. But that's not to say that your pre-workout meal is not important. Definitely not. Like you want to have some. Right? I'm a big fan of that. But pre-workout meaning like 1 to 2 hours, right? And that's actually the next part of the question. But okay. So that being said, right? So we want to make sure that we just overall, we get enough. We want to get your carbs, right? It's going to depend on your phase. But I don't think we should really be running into that scenario in general, for the most part. It really depends. Once again, what's phase you're in, etc. But running out, it can be a sign of just not getting enough throughout the day, right? Just calorie-wise even. Now, either way, for your pre-workout meal, any tips for that? I would say something light, because here's the thing too. So after watching your daily intake, right, I would say make sure that, either way, get your protein in, right? Every single meal should be protein. So you take your daily protein target, divide that by however many meals you want to have, and then you have your individual meal target. So that's super simple. If you don't track quarter of your plate, there you go. Or like a palm-sized portion, for example. Now, you want to have something light. Now, I will say this is a little bit of a detail, and it also really depends on how soon or how close to your training you're eating. But you don't really want to have something that's really like massive. So like you don't want to have like a full plate of broccoli, for example. So what we want to do is we want to keep it a little bit lighter, right? You got your protein. You definitely want to have your carbs. So here, this is a great moment to have more carbohydrate in your meal. To have, I wouldn't say double, that would maybe be for your post-workout, just in between, like a good amount of carbohydrate to fuel that training. Now, with that, right, I wouldn't necessarily add a whole bunch of fat and fiber. Again, not bad per se. We're really splitting hairs for the most part here, but fat and fiber slow down digestion. Meaning, hey, again, like depending on how close to training it is, we might just still be like digesting that meal. It's not going to feel great, right? So you want to keep it light. But if you want to have like a snack instead of a full meal, right? So you maybe 1 to 2 hours before your workout, you could have like your pre-workout meal, and then maybe like a pre-workout snack as a little bit extra. Think like a banana, maybe like a yogurt, maybe like one of those like squeeze yogurts, for example. Yeah, those type of things, like applesauce, those kind of things, like easy, like quick, or like a protein bar even, or like a sports drink, maybe like 30 minutes before training, so that should do the trick. And then, next part of the question was how long before training is a meal recommended? So once again, 1 to 2 hours for the actual meal, maybe like 30 minutes if you want to have a snack. And by the way, even during, it's cool to have some. And when nutrition is dialed in, once again, it's mostly going to depend on your daily intake, but when that's dialed in, and we could get out like a couple more like percentages like of additional, we want to just squeeze a little bit more out, we could actually have some during your training. I'm a big fan of, even if it's just like a quick Gatorade or something, like a sports drink where you get sodium, you get some sugars in, some easy sugars, like quick sugars, especially highly branched cyclic dextrin, one of my favorites. And you could even just add like creatine, and you add whatever you want. You could even have some protein there or essential amino acids. But what I will say, let's just keep it super simple, right? Let's focus on like getting an actual meal in, maybe a little bit extra before training, potentially some intra-workout carbs if we want to, but it really depends. And I know for this specific person, to be honest, like for most people, it's actually like a tiny detail that we probably don't even have to get into, the intra-workout at least. Now, next question. So tips on how to include more salad in daily meals. I love that question. And then it says, or is it cool to focus on salad and veggies at the same time? Okay, interesting. So first part of the question, so tips on how to include more salad in daily meals. It is a matter of like buying it at the store and eating it. Like all joking aside, like it's a matter of doing, with these kind of things, when, like what's the easiest way to get our fruits in, our veggies, like our water, it is a matter of doing. So if we're looking for inspiration, okay, let's actually sit down and find some options that we like. But again, like we do need to just buy it and then eat it. Again, though, all joking aside, like fruits and vegetables are part of those things that we just kind of need to do, right? Your parents always told you, hey, you gotta get your fruits, your veggies, right? Or at least I hope so. They're super important, and we can't really get around it. I know these days people are really big on like the greens drinks, but it's not really the same. It's a nice little like insurance policies, like a little extra, but it's not going to replace your actual fruits and veggies. So that being said, we just need to get it in. 1 up to 3 servings of fruit per day, 2 up to 4 for veggies, and that goes for most people. I like to be on the higher end, especially when I'm dieting, for example. We have our clients also just focus on really like filling foods, just to kind of like mitigate the hunger. But these foods are going to give you fiber, which is crucial for health, right? Super important for digestion as well. We're going to get your micronutrients, like your vitamins and minerals, phytonutrients. And these are not like, especially the vitamins and minerals, they're not like optional, they're essential, meaning like we actually need them for like proper function, If we're missing out on a bunch like consistently for a long period of time, we might run into some issues, health issues, could even impact your metabolism. So altogether, right, I'd say like I like seeing clients get at least 2 of each fruits and veggies, right? And the cool thing is too, by the way, so this is stuff that you can always keep up, right? Whether you're tracking or not, whether you're traveling, whether you're busy or whatever it may be, like any scenario, we can always get in our fruits. We can always get our veggies in, right? Which is really cool. So that means, right, for example, if you think, hey, I really want to dial in my nutrition, but I have a work trip coming up, but I know I'm going to be busy, but I know I'm going to go on my vacation. Hey, even that, right? Now, maybe vacation is not like the moment where you're going to flip around like your whole lifestyle, but you could actually focus on, hey, let me get some more veggies in, let me get some more fruits in, let me already get started, because at the end of the day, it's stuff that we need to do anyway, right? If you're watching live, drop me a quick like, comment, do me a huge favor, because again, it does really help, Facebook actually show this stuff to our members in the group. But let's get back to the question. I like to bring this up every now and then, Also, if you're watching a replay, by the way. Now, as for salad and veggies, like I would say that's the same, right? So, I mean, they're both just different types of vegetables, I guess. Salad, I mean, there's so many different forms of salad. I'd say for the most part, it's going to at least include like lettuce and a whole bunch of other things. I really like to throw bell pepper in, etc. But yeah, same, right? Like, vegetables, salad, whatever. And that being said, which goes into the next question, for me, I don't eat a lot of actual salads. So even like now, this challenge is really kind of fun for me to change it up too. But I just focus on like having fruits and vegetables with every single meal now. So same. Next question would be, what is your favorite salad? So I don't know what it's called. I had to think about this one. But I could think of the name. But it has like, it's mostly lettuce, I think. Then it probably has onion as well. I think red onion. I know there's definitely walnuts, and then there's honey, apple, and goat cheese. I don't know what it's called, but it's super fucking good. Google, right? Salad with goat cheese, walnuts, whatever. There's probably going to be a ton of versions, but that's a really nice combo. Or like a good like pasta salad, right? So with maybe like some tuna, for example, super easy to throw together. For the most part, again, like I don't eat a lot of actual salads, but I just have my fruits and veggies with every single meal. So for example, with breakfast, I'll have my oats and then I'll top them with berries, or a kiwi, or usually both even, right? I have that for my breakfast and then a kiwi as a little snack. For lunch, I usually have like a bell pepper, and then for dinner, like we just change it up, like asparagus, green beans, broccoli, those kind of things. It's about changing it up, With veggies, you can't really go wrong. You want to have different colors for different micronutrients. And once again, those are essential, so we do need them. It's going to keep you full. It's going to just make you feel good, and we do need that stuff. And we can get like a greens drink. That's great, and that's fine. Like there's some quite good ones these days. But it's not going to replace it, It's not going to replace like actual fruits and veggies, which really plays into the next question almost. So actually, let's get into that. So tips for healthy alternatives when you crave something sweet. I think like fruits are great there, Like instead of, because I see there's a lot in the space where there's a lot of like glorifying of the sugar-free options and the low-calorie options, and those are all great, and the zero-calorie sauces and all this stuff. But I don't even think we need to like glorify shit just because it's lower calorie, right? It just depends. And I mean, if anything, you can also just have something sweet. It is fine, right? But back to what I was saying. So with our fruits, and I just had one of my clients last week, she hit 26 grams of fiber on 1,400 calories. She's a bit shorter, right? So we're really working on just like, getting her through her diet. We're getting towards the end now. She's getting super lean, and we really want to get it in volume in. So we're really working on fruits and vegetables, right? And she's hitting 26 grams of fiber within like 1,400 calories. So that's super impressive. Now, that being said, exact like examples, I should say, watermelon, strawberry, those are great because you can literally eat like 150, like 200 grams of that stuff, and it's like 50 calories, which is great. So you're going to get a whole lot of volume in. You're going to get a lot of vitamins. I mean, watermelon especially is mostly just water, you know what I mean? So like you're going to get a lot of volume in. It's low calorie, and you can have a whole lot of it. So I do like having like fruit, for example, as a snack there, Let me see what I wrote down. Otherwise, it just fills you up, like makes you feel good. You know what I mean? And also, if you're tuning in live, drop me a quick like, drop me a comment, say what's up, show me your face, send me a message afterwards. Do whatever you want to do. But either way, otherwise, a nice little tip as well. I am a big fan of diet sodas. I got a good question about this yesterday in our other group, so in our group coaching group, if diet sodas are okay to drink. And yes, they are totally fine. You can have them. I know there's a lot of demonizing on, just about anything these days. Like just about everything is going to kill you these days, even like fruits and all. It's crazy. But long story short, like you can totally have your diet sodas. It's totally cool. I'm actually a big fan of it. During a diet, it's going to kind of give you like, it's going to cover that sweet tooth, the carbonation really kind of keeps you full a little bit as well. So there's that. And there's actually research on that too that shows that diet sodas can actually help with weight loss, and probably for that reason, right? You get something sweet, it kind of fills you up a little bit, kind of keeps you going. So big fan of that. I mean, linking this back to our challenge, right? I still think that we should at least get a couple of bottles of water in per day, right? Maybe not drink like liters of diet soda with every single meal, but it is fine to have. So that's a little tip there. Again, you can also just have something sweet. Like, it is fine. You know what I mean? Like, just because something is slightly higher in calories or sugar, even, slightly more processed, like, it doesn't make it bad per se. Just because something is sweet, or, like the stuff that we're usually told, like, oh, that's not good for you. Like, we can have it. It's just context, Are we eating candy every single meal? Like, probably not a great idea. But is there a time and place for a little chocolate, some candy, like even just like a real soda, like whatever you want to have, right? Yeah, sure, you can have that. It's fine, It's just context. And I even tell people sometimes, like, if they actually struggle getting enough calories in, hey, let's just actually include some of that, because as much as I have everyone focus on mostly minimally processed foods, like 80% of the time, and the diet maybe like 90%, but like mostly minimally processed foods, whole foods, that's the stuff we want to have anyway. But like, let's leave some room for the fun stuff. Make it like sustainable, flexible, and we all have those foods that we kind of just want to include, and it is fine. And that same client I was just talking about, she even includes some pieces of chocolate in her breakfast every now and then. So it's possible, right? It's possible. We can just all just kind of fit it in, as long as you cover your bases, which brings me to my last point for this question, right? When you do that, right, you have mostly minimally processed foods, whole foods, right? For the most part, there's nothing wrong with a bit of candy, some diet soda, whatever. As much, like fear mongering there is these days, it's totally fine to have that stuff, Keep it flexible, like keep it fun, like live a little bit, don't overdo it, don't take this out of context, right? This is not like if it fits your macros, right? Whereas just macros and food quality doesn't fucking matter. Like, no, that's not what it is. This is like flexible dieting. You mostly cover your bases. You mostly eat healthy in clothes, right? And then there's plenty of room for the fun stuff. And even like drinks, like alcohol and stuff. Like, is it great to have a whole bunch, every single day? Probably not, right? But some people like to have some drinks, and let's just include a little bit of that, right? Every now and then. It's also okay. Moderation. I know we don't like moderation, but that is the answer, Lastly, last question for this week. So suggestions for salads. I mean, I did give my favorites already, but you know what it is? With this stuff, I think it's also like part of just kind of like being curious of like, hey, what would the nutrition coach do, right? But part of my job as a coach, right, is not just to give people a meal, like we don't even do meal plans, right? We don't do that shit. Like, we don't have the app that just automatically updates your recipes. Like, nothing wrong with that, but I don't think that teaches you something. I'm here to teach you something. At least that's my approach, right? So what I do, what I think is my responsibility, is to push you to become more autonomous, to become more proactive, to become resourceful, to make sure that down the line, like half a year later, whatever, or maybe a year for some people, depends. And my phone just gave me a notification. The battery's almost dead, but we're good still. But, at least, like, let's say at least half a year, right? So that down the line, you're going to be fine on your own. Like, that's my goal for you. I'm here to get you the results, to show you, hey, this is how you do it. This is how we maintain it. I'm here to hold you accountable, but to also teach you this shit, because I think it's important to make sure that you understand every step you take, because at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to your habits, your lifestyle. I'm not going to be there for you down the line, right? As much as I like working with our clients for a long time, I have people staying with us for 2+ years, which is incredible. Like 1 or 2 years, a couple people longer. Like, that's super fucking cool. And I really know those people, right? Really like my friend, my family. It's super sick. It's the coolest thing ever, But that's mostly for like the accountability. Will they be able to do this on their own? Yeah, by now, yeah, of course, and that's the goal. So it's part of my job to push you to become autonomous, to do this shit on your own, to become resourceful, be proactive, right? And that being said, right, there is Google. There is Google, where you can look up salad recipes, or if you don't like one, like let's say for example you don't like one that has goat cheese, okay, you go for salad without goat cheese. You know what I mean? No, I'm serious. Or like vegetarian, high protein like salads or something like that. Like get specific, but like go to Google, look it up, because everyone's gonna like different stuff. First of all, but then on top of that, right? Just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that I know the secrets in terms of like special salads or anything. It's just any salad. Right? Get your veggies in, and that's why this is part of our challenge. Like, let's just get some veggies in. Like, it doesn't really matter. 2 fist size, like portions basically together. Let's get some greens and like just change it up. Like play around with it, and that's again why we share this on our Instagram, because then we not only do we show each other like, hey, we're doing this on a daily basis. We're getting our daily salad in. Like we're also showing each other, hey, different salads with different ingredients, right? Get some inspiration. That's why we do this stuff. So again, I did share my favorites, but honestly, you Google, right? Look it up, do a bit of searching, like be proactive there and be resourceful and think out of the box too, right? Change it up. Look up, I don't know, tuna salad, chickpea salad, high protein salad, fruit salad. Like, get a fruit salad. That's great too,